Hi Scott, time for some feedback on your faces and specifically creating expressions. And as always, you've done loads and loads and loads of work, which is great. Quite a lot of in-depth exploring of eyebrows and mouths and the way that those two particular features really drive so much of what's going on. And obviously the shape of the face and the way the muscles move does vary with other it does change the other features as well. But if you focus on the eyebrows and the mouth, really does do most of the work for you. So what I'm going to do is I'll go first into the more general stuff that we've done here, and then we'll dive into the specifics around little Alfonso. Great name for him. I don't know his name actually. He's just such an excellent set of faces that I find it's a real stretching kind of exercise to let people expose themselves to him and trying to copy them, because as you say, there's a lot of subtlety to those expressions, and so there's just a lot of learning to be done. Okay, so first up, you've done great on these, and what I would say is that we can bring the eyebrows even closer to the eyes. So what I tend to do is I literally use the eyebrows as a proxy for one side of the eyeball itself, because the muscles that these eyes are grossly exaggerated eyeball wise. And so by just conflating the side of the eyeball with the eyebrow like this, you end up with just kind of almost concentrating the feature, the effect of the feature, and also there's no gap between the brows and the eyes, so it just magnifies the effect. So what I would say is here, if you do this, and even this like this, you can often just bring in more of an arch, especially for the surprised brows. And if you look at yourself in the mirror, if you make this expression in the mirror with a wide open, big, wow, of a mouth and the raised eyebrows, what you'll see is that there's a tension that kind of runs down the side of the face to the chin like this. So you'll see a tension like that goes up like that. And it's almost as if this inner corner of the brow here lifts up, but obviously there's always an arch to the brow, so it'll tend to go like this, and then the mouth is like that. So if you just think about that tension, that almost as if there's an invisible string or elastic which joins the brows to the point of the chin like that, it always tends to stretch like that. So similarly here, if we bring these brows in like this and just dent in the top shape of the eyebrow, here when you've got arches, you can take them like that, so more, not a perfect arch like this, but more slightly closer at this end to the eyeball and then arching up like that and stopping before you get to the very middle. So that is what I would say with that. And with these ones, you really kind of want your brows to be in like this, so they're a bit closer. Unless there's a frown like this, you could do that if you wanted to. But those frown lines will tend to be between the eyebrows, between the eyes like that. So that is my suggestion for those. And here with these, you can flatten the top of the eyes out altogether like that. These ones where you've got a smile, so you see here we've got the nose is pointing this way, okay. What you'd want to do is, rather than having the mouth perfectly symmetrical like that, bring it like this a little bit. So a little bit of asymmetry in the mouth is always a good thing, and that kind of gives us that sense that we're looking a little bit to the side. And then his nose, remember the bridge of his nose will always go between the eyes like that. So you almost need to lift the nose up a little bit and take it between the eyes, especially when the nose is pointing left or right. It's better to do it like that than to have it way down and not at all connected to the eyes. So when the face is turned left or right, you'll remember from the follow your nose exercises at the very beginning of your cartooning journey that the nose will tend to slightly obscure the far eyeball like that, even when the eyes almost touch in the middle. Can you see how that gives us a sense of perspective? It gives us a sense that the face is turned towards our left because the nose crosses it in front of that far eyeball. So that is something to bear in mind. And again here with the mouth, given that the nose is pointed, oopsie, let me change my color back. Given that the nose is pointed this way, if we just take the mouth like that and make it more exaggerated on this side, like that, it gives us that sense of what's going on with the face. And then remember what I said with the arch of the eyebrows. If you kind of have them more coming from the more of the brow like that, and then they stop in the middle like this, before they get all the way across, it just kind of frames the face more. And if you go and look at your own face in the mirror, you'll see again and again that is what happens. You kind of the arched brows tend to frame from the outside inwards rather than being perfectly positioned over the top of the eyes. I do apologize for the weird noise in the background if you can hear it. I don't know whether it'll come through on the video, but someone is angle grinding at my neighbors, and unfortunately there is nothing I can do about that. Okay, so let us go and have a look. Here, this is a pretty unusual eyebrow. You're not going to get this happening very much, but again, you can take it more like this so that there's more eyebrow here and less in the middle. That will look more what you would expect. And this one, I would probably end up like that. So slightly, not perfectly parallel lines. And one, they tend to be dented in slightly like this, and then one like that. Always works quite well. These ones, I would bring the eyebrows down like that, or else I would leave the eyebrows all together and just take the eyelids like that. So it would look better if you take the eyebrows off. For closed eyes like this, it just it looks better without that. Or the other thing that you can do, and I'll put it on this one so that you get a bit of a comparison, is rather than having the circles for the eyeballs, the sort of orbit of the eyes, if we rather you can just do this and just have the eyes like that. Then you can leave the brows in because they kind of show the top area of the top of the sort of orbital, whatever it is on the eye, but you've just got these closed eyelids at the bottom. So that is what I would suggest for that. Okay, let us have a look at some of the specifics here. And again, I would say, remember, you don't want the nose too far down like this. So bring the nose up between the eyes like that, and then bring the mouth up a little bit, and your faces will just look more the way you want them. So the asymmetry is something that you're looking for. This one's good. Bring the nose up a little bit. Mouth can go up too, like that. Bring the nose and mouth closer together here. So when the eyes are curved like that, it tends to be that the mouth is open, so the cheek muscles are pushing that curve up. Whereas when the mouth is closed or pulled down, then that might be that slightly sadder look there. And then again, bringing the nose in between like that. And this one, not entirely sure how that one goes. Okay, so nose between eyes so that it obscures part of the far eye, just to get that going on. And yes, as you say, there are subtle changes. So you can see this is a much longer, pointier nose because it's got more going on horizontal, whereas this one is a much more vertical nose. So you'll just have to focus on that a little bit as you go. But rather having this, can you see this is almost like a 6? Put it up if you put it up so that the bridge goes between the two eyes and just focus it a little bit more on just getting that slight curve for the side of the nostril, you'll find that it starts to go better. And then you can decide whether he's going to have a long upper lip, so there's extra space between the bottom of the nose or the tip of the nose and the mouth, or whether you want the mouth to be a little bit closer. That is up to you to fiddle around with and decide. Okay, and if we look at this little guy, so looking specifically at A6, I'm just going to go and pick it up from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, there. Okay, so what I wanted to show you there is if you look at the position of the eyes, now this is not in Procreate, so it's going to jump around. So you can see that eye, if you look at the position of this in comparison, it's a whole lot lower, okay? So let's go and have a look at your version. And you can see here that your version, the eyes are pretty much on a par. So to get it to look similar, we're going to have to do this and then this. And you can see from the original he didn't put in that whole eyebrow like that. So the brow here is there. The brow here is there. The actual brow is lower, and then this brow is up and over. Let's go back and compare one more time. Oh dear, keep going to the wrong place. So you can see there, the eye itself, that little closed winking eye, is low. It's sort of on a par with the middle of this other eyeball. Then that brow is up and this brow is down. So there's a lot of level difference between where these eyes are sitting. Whereas here, they're much more on a par with each other because this is not a very asymmetrical expression. Okay, so sometimes like this one, we've got a lot of asymmetry. So the top of this eye is very much mimicking what the brow is doing, and it's lower, whereas that one's wide open and with a slight arch. These ones are reasonably symmetrical, although the mouth is set over to one side. But you can see again there is the bridge of a nose going between the eyes. Here the nose is almost always somewhat between the eyes. Obviously he's got a tiny nose and massive eyeballs, a little different from your character, but it's worth noting the principle. Okay, then just going through these faces, I love the way that you put almost a circumstance or a situation that he might be reacting to. I'm just going to pull that up on my laptop quickly so that I can refer. Yeah, so there's, I often just run through these and think this is that slightly anxious look or a questioning look. What did I just step in? This one, definitely a winner or just exuberant laughing joy. This one, pretty sad, or as you say, I'm not going to admit that I'm wrong, you are wrong, and I am right. This one I always think of as somewhat disgusted. It's almost like, yuck, yuck, yuck. This one is, to me, is a big yell of rage or exasperation. This one just a slight of little wink or got caught out, as you might think. Here we are on 7. Sorry, yeah, it does look pretty sad and sorry and apologetic. This one, you caught me. Oops, caught in the act. This one, so that's what kombucha tastes like. Yuck, yes, also a bit of a yuck. So you can see a similarity between that one and this one. This one's almost a disbelief. It's like, seriously, is that what you're going to say? This one I love. He looks so happy. And I like it. We said, let's go with my plan again. Yes, absolutely. You must be joking. Pretty grumpy there. And this one, this is, yeah, kind of a bit sleepy and unsure of things. So I think you were spot on with what you came up with. This, you can see that if you just go with trying to describe an emotion to go with each of these, there are quite a few which you could say are anxiety or kind of fear, uncertainty. So this is like, oops, this looks a bit hairy. This one is a more extreme, things are going to go badly shortly. This one can also be I'm not sure about this. So what I like about this little set of faces is it just gives you degrees of uncertainty, shock and horror, but in a positive way, shock and horror in a negative way, this sort of slight disbelief or wondering what's going to happen. The rolling of the eyes, always very expressive, so it's useful to just have a look and see what that conveys. And then sometimes there's just grumpiness. This looks to me like frustration. This is grumpiness to me. Also grumpiness, this one, a grumpy disbelief. Let's have a look at these ones. Sad or just a bit resigned or not sure what else to say about that one. And this one always looks like annoyance to me. I'm like, I am so frustrated, I am going to scream now. So those are those little faces. And that is about all the feedback I can give you here. What I would tend to say for this, let's just have a look at A9. So again, with the noses, little nose between the eyes like this so that you slightly obscure the far side. And if you look at this one, if you put the little nose like that, sometimes you can end up with the upper lip joining to the base of the nose like this, so you can almost get that, and that can help you to position the upper lip sometimes. And what'll tend to happen is that this pupil, you want them to work together, you need them to be the same size. What'll happen is that this pupil has to go closer to the edge than that one, because it's looking further, the angle that it's looking at is more than the eye, which is closer to where it's looking. This would be the opposite. So if we're looking this way, we're going to have this one's going to be close to there, and this one probably won't quite touch the side of the eyeball. So the one that's got to look further, greater angle, would tend to have to be touching the side of the eyeball. The one that's got a less extreme angle, not going to touch the side of the eyeball. And here again, you might consider, oh, he's wearing glasses, so you're always going to have that outer edge like that, and then it's good the way you've done it. You can sometimes put a bigger eye lid underneath like that, just looks slightly more serene. But I would always keep his little nose somewhere in between like this, especially with a younger character. Having all the features kind of closer to the eyes like that will tend to keep the youthfulness of him more accurate. Okay, so that is where we are. I will send you this with all my notes on it so that you don't have to keep scrolling backwards and forwards through the video. And that's it for now.